Hello and welcome to Arnie's Short Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Niton Nightmare. The cold wind howled across the Isle of Wight, carrying with it the salty taint of the sea. Holly Arnold pulled her coat tighter around her as she stared up at the silhouette of St. Catherine's lighthouse. Perched on the edge of Niton's rugged cliffs, the old structure was a beacon of hope turned harbinger of terror, so the locals whispered. The villagers spoke of lights flickering at odd hours, ghostly figures drifting through the fog, and a mournful wail that seemed to echo from the cliffs. The rumors began after a string of shipwrecks, each more mysterious than the last. Holly, an investigative journalist with a penchant for the paranormal, had come to uncover the truth. Armed with a flashlight and a notebook, she pushed open the rusted gate that led to the lighthouse. The hinges groaned in protest, as if warning her to turn back. But Holly's curiosity burned brighter than her fear. Inside, the air was damp and thick with the scent of mildew. The walls were lined with faded maritime charts and peeling paint. Holly's flashlight beam danced across the room, landing on a spiral staircase that wound upward into darkness. She hesitated, her heartbeat quickening before ascending. Each step echoed in the hollow tower, the sound amplifying her sense of isolation. As she reached the top, she found herself in the lounging room. The massive Fresnel lens stood dormant, its glass panels reflecting her own pale face. But it was the desk in the corner that caught her attention. A logbook lay open, its pages yellowed with age. Holly flipped through it, her fingers trembling. The entries detailed the lighthouse keeper's duties but took a sinister turn in the final pages. January 3rd, 1884, another wreck. The screams haunt me still. It is as if the light guides them not to safety but to doom. The fog grows thicker each night, and with it, their voices. They call for justice. They call for me. January 5th, 1884, I cannot bear it any longer. They are here, in the light, in the fog, in my mind. Forgive me. The final entry was smeared, the ink trailing off as if the writer had been interrupted. Holly's pulse raced. The keeper's cryptic words hinted at something malevolent, something tied to the very beacon meant to save lives. A sudden creak broke the silence. Holly whirled around, her flashlight cutting through the shadows. The room was empty, yet the air felt charged, as if she were not alone. "Who's there?" she called, her voice wavering. No response came, but the temperature dropped, her breath forming misty clouds. Then, faintly at first, she heard it. A chorus of whispers rising from the stairwell. Holly descended cautiously, the voices growing louder. They seemed to come from below, drawing her toward the lighthouse's foundation. She found a hidden door partially concealed behind a stack of crates. With effort, she pried it open, revealing a narrow tunnel carved into the rock. The tunnel led to a cavern where the air was thick with the scent of seawater and decay. In the center stood a stone altar, encrusted with barnacles and seaweed. Around it, spectral figures shimmered, the ghosts of shipwreck victims. Their translucent forms were twisted with anguish, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. One figure stepped forward, a woman in a tattered gown. Her voice was a haunting melody, tinged with sorrow. "You should not have come," she said. "The keeper betrayed us. He extinguished the light to lure our ships to ruin, all for the treasures we carried." Holly's throat tightened. Why would he do such a thing? Agreed. The spirit replied, her voice echoing like waves in a cave. "But his crime cursed this place. We are bound here, unable to rest. Unless what?" Holly asked, her voice barely a whisper. "To expose the truth, bring justice to the keeper's deeds. Only then can we find peace." Holly nodded, determination hardening her resolve. She returned to the lighthouse, scouring every corner for evidence. In a locked chest, she found the keeper's confession, a letter detailing his plan to sabotage the light and plunder the wrecks. The next day, Holly presented her findings to the local authorities. The story made headlines, and the lighthouse became a site of historical reckoning. But Holly knew her work wasn't done. She returned to the cavern one last time, clutching a lantern. The ghosts awaited her, their forms flickering like candle flames. "It is done," she said, holding up the keeper's letter. "The world knows the truth." The spirits began to fade, their anguished expressions softening into peace. The woman in the tattered gown smiled faintly. "Thank you," she said, her voice a mere whisper as she vanished into the ether. The cavern grew silent, the air lighter. Holly emerged into the dawn, the first rays of sunlight painting the cliffs in gold. The nightmare was over, but the memory lingered. a chilling reminder of the darkness that could lurk even in the brightest of places. Weeks passed, but Holly's thoughts often returned to the lighthouse. Her story had drawn national attention, sparking debates about greed, guilt and the lingering effects of unresolved tragedy, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that something remained unfinished. One evening, as she prepared for bed, a package arrived at her door. Inside was a withered journal, its cover embossed with an anchor and lighthouse motif. A note accompanied it. "Miss Arnold, I found this among my great-grandfather's belongings. He was the last keeper of St. Catherine's. Perhaps it will interest you." Intrigued, Holly opened the journal. Its pages were filled with sketches of the lighthouse, the cliffs, and strange symbols runes she'd seen etched on the cavern's altar. The final entries hinted at rituals performed to appease the spirits, but also spoke of an artifact hidden beneath the lighthouse. An artifact the keeper believed could either banish the spirits forever or unleash their fury. Holly's heart raced. She had to return. This time, not as an observer, but as a participant in the lighthouse's dark legacy. Armed with the journal, she ventured back to St. Catherine's under the cover of night. The wind was eerily still, the sea an unbroken expanse of black. As she entered the lighthouse, the walls seemed to pulse with an unseen energy. The whispers had returned, louder now, almost pleading. Guided by the journal's cryptic instructions, Holly descended into the foundation once more. The altar awaited, its surface glowing faintly in the lantern light. She dug at the base, her fingers scraping against something hard. Pulling it free, she uncovered a small chest bound with iron. Inside was a shard of obsidian, smooth and cold to the touch. As she held it, the whispers crescendoed into a deafening roar. The spirits materialized, their forms swirling like a storm. The woman in the tattered gown appeared before her, her face contorted with desperation. "If you must choose, destroy the shard and free us, or use it to seal the curse forever, but know this." Holly hesitated, the weight of the decision pressing down on her. Her pulse thundered in her ears as she made her choice. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.